what you're gonna do?
Yeah, sticky green. On beat groove, sticky green.
I'm on my way to Hollywood. 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 Now I'm riding by myself, so lost. Trying to find myself, trying to be the boss.
Lost in this crazy life that we're living in. I'm so lost.
Foundation albums coming out soon. Pick up that Foundation album, you know what I mean?
It must be crazy, don't want you around tonight. Dramatic tracks tonight.
Don't feel like
Those things, like James Brown and like people of that nature, okay, then he does the moonwalk. Now there are people in China who never saw the moonwalk before. That's why that moment is so big. But to the people who live or who know what that is, we home like, oh yeah, man, he bigged us up. Like he said, yeah, man, this is for y'all. You know, so that's how I feel when he does that. Things like that. He just paying tribute.
I've never seen him do it until then. All the performances we did on tours way before that, I've never seen him do it until that
night. I'm surprised because we started showing Michael the backside in 1980. He wouldn't do it publicly until 83. He was waiting for the opportune time to do this, and I think that was his first opportune time.
Day after Motown 25, by the end of the school day, you saw nothing but black scuff marks on the end of the floor from like all different directions.
It's such an incredible performance, and it did so much for him. It boosted his entire career. That one moment in time boosted his entire career. It was a great moment.
From that point on, his albums started selling like 300-something thousand copies a week or more. Yeah, and that's why Thriller, that's what really sorted through the roof. Why Thriller's like the greatest selling album of all times.
Thriller. It was really compiled to be like almost like a greatest hits collection of singles. It was really state of the art across the board. They dropped the album kind of right as MTV is on its ascent, you know, in terms of really determining the way music is going to be marketed. The real masterstroke in terms of marketing that record was to get Eddie Van Halen to play the guitar solo. From the standpoint of really kind of making kind of that white boy rock audience look up and pay attention to a Michael Jackson record, and that's when, you know, Thriller just starts to gain momentum and it just becomes this juggernaut.
Eddie Van Halen's intro is very symbolic. It's a knock of a door. And the intro is as if a door is opening, and then all this onslaught. Finally, like my teacher, my math teacher, had something to relate to me to. She owns Thriller too. She's like this 44-year-old married white woman from, you know, the Bible Belt. You came from Tennessee to teach us, you know, come to the inner city to teach you guys math. And all of a sudden, it just expanded. The guy down the street and the store owners, they all owned Thriller.
The moment that Michael Jackson worked for all his life had arrived.
he was now invincible, master of his universe. He brought the world of Hollywood to music videos and created mini movies that MTV just couldn't refuse. With the 100 million sales target now a reality, he was the world's biggest star. Michael Jackson had proven to himself that dreams can come true.
In a way, the primary narrative of black people in the Americas is a narrative of the movement from object to subject. It always comes down to that, object to subject. Black people are always props for white people. And we're always the objects there to represent the subjecthood of the white people. Michael Jackson was profoundly not a prop. Everybody else was there as a manifestation of who he was. It didn't matter who he came into contact with, who he was dealing with. Paul McCartney is a guest star in the Michael Jackson story. That's unprecedented.
To be let down, 'cause I really feel it's time. And don't she tell you I'm the one for her, 'cause she said I blow her mind, the girl is mine.
I mean, to put it in the bluntest terms, like Michael Jackson was a different kind of nigga. I mean, just to use that term for a second, because it took people a second to realize exactly what they were dealing with. Like, essentially, a black man from the future. He's a product of a hardcore black working class tradition. So it's got the drive of the working class thing, you know, the need to prove himself, to succeed, to push into spaces that, you know, hitherto had been sort of restricted for him. But what's really deep about it, he's also a wealthy kid who grew up in LA, who assumed anything out there was his for the taking. Didn't even understand, didn't even see certain kinds of limitations. So when he bought the Beatles catalog, it wasn't no big deal for him. It was like it was there for the buying. He bought it. It shocked us. It shocked me. That was a deep moment. I was like, oh shit, this dude bought the Beatles catalog. I mean, it was the beginning of, like I say, things like Dr. Dre signing Eminem. You know what I mean? Like the best, the most powerful black hip-hop producer controlling the most powerful hip-hop artists. Is the beginning of thinking like that, you know, and thinking like we could take all of this, we can operate inside of capitalism the same way they.
I'm happy he made it, because this is the best present a 50-year-old could ever get. I think Michael Jackson is one of the greatest people and one of the greatest talents I've ever met. And I'd like to thank everybody I thanked before, my family and everything else, and mainly the public that made this thing happen, and the nearest voters. Thank you. VT.
When something like this happens, you want those who are very dear to you up here with you. I'd like to ask for my sister, LaToya and Janet, please come up. My sister Janet as well, come up. First of all, I'd like to thank God, who's first. Reevy, I'd like to have you up here too, you know. Also, I'd like to thank my mother and father, who were with us all the way. I mean, my mother's very shy. She's like me. She won't come up.
Michael. With the child's heart, go face the worries of the day. With the child's heart, turn each problem into play. Love is as welcome as a sunny day. No grown-up thoughts to lead our hearts astray. Yes, Michael. I'm not like other guys.
If you want to see the boy next door, then open up your door to your kitchen and look at the boy next door. Don't go see Michael Jackson, because he ain't the boy next door.
Although each new work from Michael was more successful than the last, nothing could have prepared him for what happened with this album. Thriller won 58 platinum records in 28 countries on 6 continents, and in America, an incredible 8 Grammy Awards. The total sales of the album have exceeded 40 million copies, earning a place in the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest selling album of all time.
Everybody always talks about the Thriller album. First of all, you got to realize that thing sold almost 40 million copies. This is the biggest album in the history of the music business.
You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze, and so it looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed.
What was really unusual, so extraordinary about that album is Michael captured the very young, the very old, everybody in between, whites, blacks, young and old, and that magic only happens once in a lifetime.
While Thriller was on the crest of its popularity, there was hardly a day that Michael's name or face was not seen in print or on television.
He took everything and he put it down and he said, "The world, here I am, here I come." And the world said, "This is Michael, this is the man."
Through it all, though, Michael doesn't seem resentful. His love for his craft and desire to learn and communicate with everyone stem from the very beginnings of his career.
Mike has always been an observer, and in fact, I won't even put that in past tense because he's the same way now.
I think Michael is like litmus paper. He's always trying to learn. And he's so intelligent. He's alarmingly bright. He's very curious, and he wants to draw from people who have survived, people who have lasted. He wants to find out what it is that's staying power, because Michael is going to be a stayer.
I remember sitting on the side of the stage watching Little Dion, watching Jackie Wilson, Joe Tex, Temptations, James Brown, just learning, watching and learning.
Learning from the godfather of soul was something Michael began very early. Even today, the culture of music is still influenced by